year, hundreds of thousands of women die from pregnancy-related causes, and almost all of these deaths typically take place in low-resource settings. In other words, most of these deaths could have been prevented. Well, the Israeli startup Nuvo has created a technology and platform that enables pregnant women to be followed by a doctor remotely. And joining us now to tell us all about how it works is Deb Henretta. She's the chair of Nuvo, Jerry Ostrov, who's also a board member from Nuvo, and Avi Burstein, who is the CEO of the Amber Lion Partners. So, Deb, I'd like to start with you. Tell us about some of the challenges that women face throughout their pregnancy and how that can be exacerbated in low-resource settings.
Well, you know, if you think about it, pregnancy care requires frequent visits to a doctor to make sure that both mom and the unborn baby stay healthy and well. And these frequent visits often put a burden on mom, both in terms of needing to take time off of work, transportation to and from these baby visits. And also, if you have a high-risk pregnancy, which now account for about 25% of all pregnancies, wow, that visits are stepped up even further. So what Nuvo is hoping to do is by providing remote digital care for these checks, mom will be able to have less frequent visits where she has to take time off of work, get childcare, transport herself to and from. And it also will help with high-risk pregnancies where at the end of your pregnancy, you're sometimes going into a doctor twice a week. Yeah. And this would allow at least some of those visits to be done virtually and remotely.
Right, and that's not even to mention just what it's like to be in a hospital nowadays. It's an incredible overload of people in hospitals, coronavirus. You don't want to be exposing yourself to anything. I'd like to turn to you, Jerry. How does Nuvo work? Tell us how this technology actually functions.
Well, basically, we provide belts to the mother, and she wears it, and the data is then put up on the cloud. And the doctor is, medical professionals are able to access those resources, interact with the patient, the consumer. And in fact, these are healthy people, so we want to keep them out of the hospital, particularly with COVID having accelerated this, and they are able to interact there and determine the best way forward.
You know, I'd like to turn back to you, Deb. Tell us a little bit about the telemedicine sector in Israel and how Israel has positioned itself in this industry overall, especially with products like Nuvo's.
Well, you know, I think as you look at telemedicine, this has been a trend that's been emerging for several years, and the adoption has accelerated through COVID as doctors are becoming more comfortable using healthcare technology and performing virtual visits, and patients are also getting increasingly more comfortable with receiving remote care and digital care. And, you know, if you look at it, telemedicine, especially in the case of the pregnancy example that we were using, provides patient convenience. So in terms of time and transport, and there's easier follow-up. It improves access to care, specifically addressing gaps in care coverage and addressing what we call specialty care deserts, where there is no doctor providing the specialty care that is needed by the patient. And all of this can help providers from a standpoint of reducing their staff shortages, increasing their practice workflow, and reducing overscheduling and burnout that often happens in these healthcare environments and practices. And if you look at it all taken together, telemedicine can help reduce costs, and we're hopeful that it'll be able to improve outcomes over time. And this is happening all over the world, but we're starting to see some really interesting startups like Nuvo in telemedicine in Israel.
Now, Avi, I'd like to turn to you. You're here in the studio with us. Tell us why Amber Lion Partners has decided to invest in this sector and in Nuvo.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for welcoming me here, Natasha. It's a very great pleasure to be here with you. We launched the company about 3 years ago to locate very unique and attractive opportunities around the world for our key client bases. And of course, Israel as a startup nation offers amazing opportunities, you know, in all various areas of technology, whether it's fintech, fintech, cybersecurity, agri-tech, clean tech, auto tech, etc., etc. But in telemedicine, we found very specific opportunity through Nuvo for a few reasons. The first one is that Israel offers a specific, unique ecosystem for that kind of activities related to medicine. The second one is that we believe actually in the telemedicine huge growth potential, especially after the corona, which touched everybody, and where hospitals discovered that they needed this remote access, to the patients. And the third one, and you saw it through Jerry and Deb now, but the team is absolutely amazing, is the excellence of the team behind Nuvo Cares. We made a very strong due diligence on multiple companies here in Israel. We visited the company with all the partners, and we discovered in Nuvo real special talent, in people capable of execution and transforming their business plans, their technology into revenues. So those were the main criteria for us.
So Deb, very quickly, where can we get the Nuvo product if we want to get it? For women who are pregnant or experiencing high-risk pregnancies, is this available on the market yet?
It's not available on the market. This will be prescription driven, so you'll need to get access through your healthcare provider. So for a pregnant woman who is interested in learning more, she should consult her healthcare provider. And we hope that we will be expanding through as many healthcare providers and healthcare systems as will take us. Nuvo has a mission. We're committed to give life a better beginning. And we really think that making steps and inroads into pregnancy care, which, oh, by the way, has not changed in more than 50 years. And what that means is the care that my mom received when she was having me is the same as the care I received when I was having my children. And it's the same care my daughters are going to receive if we don't make some real headway in technology and innovation in pregnancy care. And that's exactly what Nuvo is trying to do.
All right. Well, as a woman myself, I am appreciative of the fact that there's a product like this that is soon going to be available for, pregnant people across the planet. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Very interesting.